Hello guys, how you doing? John over here making another video for this channel. I'm not gonna say how many videos I've made so far because it's getting annoying. And let's go straight to the point. Today I want to talk about the types of contraction, a little bit different from rehab type of stuff and that type of thing, right? Injuries, rehab, we can do lengthen, that type of stuff. Today's a little bit different types of contraction that we do in the gym. We're gonna start straight to the point. We're going with isometric contraction. We got three types of contraction. The second type of contraction is like 2 in 1, but it's 3 types of contraction. The first one, isometric contraction. I'm gonna give the example of a bicep curl. For example, it's like elbow flexion, right? You got the joint to the elbow, and isometric contraction is where you have no movement of the joint, but you still have contraction of the muscle. So like, let's say, if I get like a dumbbell or something, if I hold it right here, the muscles act. That's a bicep acting right here. I'm holding it, it's contract. You know what I mean? But there's no joint movement. And this type of contraction is pretty famous, it's pretty used for people that, like for example, just came back from an injury type thing. Because when you have an injury, especially on a joint that's like supposed to be stable, for example, the knee, on the leg extension, let's say, you want to keep some isometric contraction because you don't want that movement of the joint every time, because that joint is having problems, and that type of joint is usually a joint that has problems. The elbow as well. So the isometric contraction is the contraction most effective for it because there's no movement of the joint, but there's contraction. So there's the strengthening of the muscle without the damage of this joint, you know. So that's the one, right? Another example is where that exercise where people sit down on a wall is like an imaginary chair and they just stay there for as long as they can. Isometric contraction. Second one, we're gonna move to isotonic contraction, and I was already gonna say their names. Concentric, we have 2 types on this, as I said before. We have concentric contraction, we have eccentric contraction within these two within isotonic contraction. So like exercises that people are doing, just like the elbow flexion, extension, elbow flexion, that's for biceps, of course. And right here, when I'm fighting against gravity with the weight, so I'm fighting against resistance, right? I beat that gravity. This is going to be concentric contraction, where my distal part of the bicep is going close to my proximal, right? So proximal to my body, distal to my body. This is going right close to it. It gets shortened, right? That's where it is. And the eccentric is just the opposite. So like, it's the distal part going away from the proximal. So like, it's right here. Oh, now it's right here, right? This is eccentric contraction, this is concentric contraction. And eccentric contraction, you're also having contraction. By the way, you're having a lot of contraction as well, because people get confused, mixed up eccentric contraction with stretching. And when you're stretching, you're actually relaxing that muscle. And when you're having eccentric contraction, I mean, just by the word, contraction is literally the opposite from stretching. I don't know why it took so long to get that word, but anyway, the other type of contraction that we got is the one that we do not see a lot, which is the isokinetic contraction. So like, this is like usually when you're going probably, let's say, to a hospital or like a rehab place where they have machines that is probably expensive, and the force that you're putting on the machine is going to basically calculate how much force you're putting on it. And the more force you put on it, the more resistance that machine is going to put on it. So let's say I'm going to go to a machine where it's basically similar to a leg extension, right? And I'm going to start, of course, I start strong on the exercise and I'm going to fatigue, right? But the machine adjusts the force that it puts according to the resistance that it puts according to the force I put. So I start really strong, the machine is gonna put a heavy weight. By the time I'm getting fatigued, the machine is gonna stop dropping that weight. So I'm gonna have the same amount of speed I'm putting on that machine, the machine is adjusting to the force I'm putting. So I'm not gonna be losing the speed. The movement is not gonna be slower because the machine is gonna be dropping weight according to you dropping force. So that's pretty technological. I don't even know if that word exists, but this is isokinetic contraction. So I just wanted to talk about these three types of contraction, a little bit different of a video today. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, to be honest. And I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Have a great one.